Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to give you an introduction to the MandelBro3D module inside Swan. MandelBro3D is a 3D fractal renderer built right into the application. At its core, it's a signed distance function renderer. You compose scenes from fractal objects, procedural primitives, and containers. And the engine generates GPU shaders on the fly to render them with physically based path tracing. The primary focus is on creating what I call architectonic fractal art, where structured, composed scenes that explore the intersection of fractal mathematics and architectural aesthetics. The design emphasis is on deliberate composition and outstanding visual quality. To open MandelBro3D, click the MB3D button in the toolbar on the right-hand side. The interface is divided into three main areas. The scene tree on the left. This is a hierarchical view of your scene, with nodes for camera, depth of field, rendering, objects and light sources. The viewport in the center, which can show 1, 2 or 4 views simultaneously. Front, right, top and perspective. The detail panel on the right with tabbed property editors for whatever node you've selected in the scene tree. You can switch between single, dual and quad view layouts using the small buttons above the viewport. Each view can be independently set to preview mode for fast real-time feedback or HQ mode for full path-traced rendering. Above the viewport, there is a toolbar with 3 menu buttons. The first is New Scene. This is where you create new scenes or load existing ones. You'll find scene templates like Default Scene and Empty Scene, options to load from file or clipboard, a list of recent scenes, and, very useful, random scene generators. Random Hybrid, Random Variation Deform, and Random V-Hybrid. There's also Random Batch, which opens a window that generates many random scenes at once with preview thumbnails, so that you can quickly explore and pick interesting results. You can also drag and drop .mbro files directly onto the application to load them. The second menu is Save Scene. Here you save your scene to a .mbro file. Use Save As for a new file name, or copy the scene to the clipboard as JSON text. The third menu is Render Scene. Quick Render does a fast high-quality render and opens a save dialog. Render Image opens a dedicated window with full control over resolution and samples. And Render Animation renders frame sequences with optional FFmpeg encoding to MP4 or GIF. Now let's look at the scene tree on the left. When you click on a node, the detail panel on the right updates to show its properties. The scene root node shows scene level settings like the scene name. The camera node lets you set position, rotation and field of view. Depth of field controls focal distance, aperture and bokeh shape. Rendering controls the ray margin quality, things like max iterations, epsilon, max distance and the path tracing settings. Objects is where all your scene objects live. Light sources manages your lights. Let's talk about objects. There are 4 types you can add. First, fractals. These are the heart of MandelBro3D. There are over 200 curated fractal formulas organized into 13 categories. Mandelbulb, Mandelbox, IFS, Menge, Quaternion, Kleinion and more. You select a formula from the drop-down and each one has its own parameters like power, scale or fold limits. Second, primitives. There are 28 built-in shapes. The basics like sphere, box, torus, cylinder, but also terrain types like ocean, sand dunes, lava field, and even a cogwheel or helix. Primitives are great as ground planes or architectural elements. Third, containers. These let you combine objects using Boolean operations like union, intersection and subtraction, including smooth variants. You can also apply space deformations like twist and bend, or use domain repetition to tile objects infinitely. One of the most powerful container types is the variation deform container. It applies flame fractal variations as 3D space deformers. There are over 475 variations available, and they can turn a standard Mandelbulb into completely unique organic shapes. There will be a separate videos going deeper into this. And fourth, hybrid fractals. These combines multiple formulas within a single object with 9 different combination modes: alternating, additive, multiplicative and more. They're great for creating shapes that no single formula can produce. Each object has material properties. MandelBro3D supports 5 material types. PBR, the standard with albedo, metallic roughness and transparency. Glass with refraction, chromatic dispersion and Beer's law absorption. Car paint, multi-layer automotive paint with clear coat, metallic flakes and thin film iridescence. SSS, subsurface scattering for translucent materials like wax or marble. Volumetric fire, for rendering fire and smoke effects. Fractals also support orbit trap coloring with 256 color gradients, which maps the fractal's internal dynamics to color. You can choose from 10 orbit trap methods and edit gradients using the gradient editor. For lighting, there are 6 light types: point, directional, spot, area, texture and volumetric. All lights support soft shadows with configurable sample counts. There are also 5 sky models to choose from: flat, hemisphere, prism, Hosek-Wilkie and Nishita, each producing different atmospheric looks. MandelBro3D also has a transform gizmo system. Press T for the local move A gizmo, G for global move, R for rotate and S for scale. The gizmo appears on the active view and lets you interactively position objects, the camera or lights. For finding interesting scenes quickly, there are 2 tools. First, the built-in example scenes. Click on Objects in the tree and you'll find a category drop-down with over 180 example scenes across 15 categories. These demonstrate everything from basic CSG operations to complex variation deformations and Kleinian fractals. Second, the random batch generator. Open it from the scene menu. Random batch. It generates multiple random scenes at once, renders small previews, and lets you load any result into the editor. You can configure the generator type, render quality, and batch size. There's also an option to automatically save each scene and its preview image to a folder. For rendering final images, switch a view to HQ mode and press the play button. The renderer accumulates samples progressively. The longer you wait, the cleaner the image becomes. You can save the result at any time using Save Image in the Rendering Detail panel. There's also a zip buffer export for depth information. MandelBro3D supports animation as well. You can keyframe any attribute using motion curves, camera position, object transforms, material properties, even formula parameters. But animation will be covered in more detail in a future video. That's the overview of MandelBro3D. In the next videos, we'll go deeper into specific topics: containers and composition, rendering and materials, and animation. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next. Bye.